Yes, the very first Monday for 2021 is finally here, and what can we say?
Of Irons, a technology company owned by Bolabo Joseph. Now he's going to be talking to us about how he was able to find his footing in the industry. Can't wait to see what that's about. All right, it is. Happy New Year. Sorry, I'm not
4 days old, 2021.
I've just seen Mary on set since then. So,
But of course, we missed you on Friday. We had quite the show on Friday.
Yeah, I can tell.
And we have some behind the scenes on my Instagram page. You might want to check it out. We actually implicated you in something.
Wow.
What?
Don't worry.
It's too early for
Check
this.
my Instagram
What do you
page.
mean? So I actually don't remember.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah.
Kids.
But it's great
What
to
did
see
we-
everyone. It's
What
great
do
to
we
see
what do we implicate?
No,
Us?
don't worry. Don't worry. That's a secret.
Why are these two? This two
Well,
have
it's
something.
a little secret.
Something
No,
something
me, I know
fish is
Titi will tell
going
me, so
on.
I'm not worried.
No,
Wow.
with these two.
Titi will
Something
tell
fish
me.
is going on.
But listen, guys, so it's been quite the weekend. Very interesting stuff happened. I went out with my family. No, I didn't go out with my family. This is where my wife said, yeah, that's what you tell them. No, actually, I don't have a side chick. No. What I meant to say
One of my family, maybe it's the wrong family.
Come on.
What I meant
It's
is,
early in the
I
year
went out
for
with
this.
my other family, which is like a biking family. We all hung out at the conservation. It was very interesting to see, especially that people were taking the whole coronavirus protocol very seriously. And I wanted to say kudos to everybody who's doing that. Please do remember it's still real, it's still with us. But let's not start the show on a downer.
No, that's not a downer.
It isn't actually.
No.
It is reality.
important.
We are thanking people for doing
Yes.
well, so that
True.
is not
So
a
that's a
downer.
good
That's an upper.
Yes.
And up, I
Because
cannot
it's
call it
important to mention over 4,000 people currently being treated for it. So you better take precautions. You never know, as in 100 names were brought out.
Yeah,
on,
I was going to say that. So 100 names, or rather passport numbers, were brought out by the Federal Task Force for COVID-19, and they were published because those people flouted the rules. They didn't take the test. So literally 100 people went out there without knowing whether they were positive or not.
Or refusing.
And one of those
actually.
100 people could have come into contact with someone who is next to you right now, and you don't have your face up.
So I guess it's about time to be asking people, sorry, what's your passport number?
Yeah, right.
Really? Cross-check.
They should have released names,
The passport numbers, yeah.
You know,
it's scary.
Apart from the fact that the Minister for Health mentioned that people are now buying tests, results, and that's another. That one.
It was only a matter of time before that would happen. Because if you remember, the yellow card.
Yes.
I keep saying that the yellow card was a big instance where it was so blatant, it was so ordinary. People were just simply buying these yellow cards at the point of departure. Like you don't have, boom, and that's it. So we hope that this doesn't go on like so, because it's a very, very bad thing. And now take it seriously.
And talking about names, you were going to talk about certain names.
Thank you for reminding me, Mary. So, Mike, you weren't here, but we're talking behind the scenes. About names that you should not call your kids in 2021. This came off of a viral post by Tools, the honor personality on radio, where she said that she doesn't understand why people will call their kids or their daughters Endurance. And I agree. Endurance is such a name that, I mean, it means that you're saying that this kid will suffer, but you will endure.
As much as I'd have loved to play devil's advocate, but ma'am, you're on point.
See,
true. Because I always say names, it's all about the meaning that whoever ascribes that name ascribes what it is. But then it's not only you that call yourself that name.
Everybody else
people call you that name. So what does it
mean?
What does it mean?
Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Endurance.
Yes, now.
Tolerance.
So, like, when someone calls you, what does it mean? So yeah, it's very important. I mean, that's why I'm proud of my name. Even though I don't get to, you guys just start calling me Michael now.
What's the one name you will not call your kid, however?
My kid. There are plenty. They're not one. So
that's the one that comes up, that as in never.
No, there are plenty.
So there's one that made me laugh. And I realized that people that name their kids Otis is because they gave birth in an elevator.
As a matter of fact.
A lift. Otis.
Otis.
What's such a nice name?
Somebody who gave birth to, when the child is born abroad.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, Tokumbo.
I thought Tokumbo.
Over the seas.
Wow,
and mind you, Tokumbo can also be Benin Republic. I think it's time for us to take the weather. We'll be back with the news show today.
All right. Now, a lot of people wake up in the morning and first thing they do is they go to social media. And we've decided to go online ourselves to see what's been going on over the past weekend.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, so, there's this whole thing about Monday motivation.
That would have been a bad way in a while.
Yeah.
That's actually true, because all these that we start people and tell people, hey, come on, man, you know how it is Monday. Let's get it in. Let's find a way. Push yourself, push somebody else, and all of that, But
some amazing quotes come up when you just put in that hashtag Monday motivation. You'll be surprised what you find.
Tell you what, my Monday motivation for you guys today is just simply get out there and start the year on a very positive note. It's a new year. I don't believe in resolutions. I just believe in strategy. And if you start right, it often will carry out all through the year. So that's all. But on social media, we actually have something put out on social media from yesterday evening, if I believe, and it's a very interesting topic that has been happening all weekend. It's about paternity tests, DNA testing, and all of that. And
so that's it right there. That's it up there.
He's a father-in-law who hated his son's wife, did a secret DNA test on her 3 children using himself as the baseline. Now, results revealed that they are not his blood. They actually belong to his son, but his son is not his own. So we asked for your comments, and we're expecting that you guys would already have dropped some. We're going to take a look at some of them. But what do you think, first of all, with all this whole DNA testing thing going on? Are you going to do a DNA test? Or if your partner asks you, let's do a DNA test, how would you feel?
Before Titi even answers, let me help you answer, Titi. Titi's DNA test has been done.
Oh, we can see it.
Have you seen those children? Oscar is very, very selfish and self-centered. Wow. Because all else he did was it came out. Children look exactly like him.
Very gross. That's so gross.
It was a mitosis of the genes.
So it's a scary thought that some women that probably don't have that advantage I have. They look like him. But imagine if they just look like completely someone different. Because I have a family member that has fair children.
Okay,
and both of them are dark.
So what should they give? We have to say our own much later. That's all about what people have to say online. I have over 84. Wow. And that's just on Twitter.
Wow.
Minus quote mentions, by the way.
On Facebook. Okay, so it's quite a lot. Let's see. Let's hit up that. Okay, so this is Owoicha. Can someone help with that?
Okay, it says.
Can someone help pronounce it?
I think it should be Owoicha Yale.
Sometimes our hatred and jealousy leads to
uncovering of some hidden truths that can actually change our personalities for life. That's just one. There's a couple more.
Laiwola Adetono. Laiwola Adetono says he should do a DNA test on his son. He actually may pass. It is what it is. Proxy Donald works poorly many times in DNA testing. Ask the experts.
Ask the experts. What's in DNA will cause, eh?
Some will
lose their inheritance.
What's the name of the handle?
The handle
Misspell
is
Esquire.
Misspells
ESQ. Okay. In trying to discredit the wife, he discredited the mother of his son and probably himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad.
Now
to ask him wife who born his son.
That's
I don't know.
What if the wife is dead?
The handle is at Kolo Abdusalam there.
All right.
You know, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this because I feel like the father had no right to go ahead and do it in the first place. And it could have just derailed the destiny of those children because those children are in your home for a reason. God sent them to you.
Oh, you just had God.
Yes, I had to. I had to.
Listen, that's a conversation we'll have
We'll
inside
definitely
the coffee
talk about
gist,
because I want to look at it from the law angle.
Law is what I'd rather. But once you start adding God into this, I respect religion, I respect God. But in these instances, let's leave God out of it and let's settle.
I feel like I was okay. I'm not sure if we
just
have
one
time,
comment.
but
I just want to round up with this comment.
Yeah.
One day Bushmeat go catch the hunter because that's what Adolipino says. Typical case hunter becomes the hunter.
The hunter will be tasty.
Wow.
Woo, what a conversation we started because inside the coffee gist we're going to tackle some of those factors, let's put it so. But right now, let's do the headlines. Let's tell you what the dailies have in store for us this Monday morning, the 4th of January 2021. First big headline from our first paper. This is the Guardian newspaper, and we can see there, revenue crisis may worsen. The rider for under as OPEC meets amid COVID-19 vaccine uncertainty. Cartel sees mixed outlook as inventory remains high, and stakeholders ask FG to hedge cuts by leveraging high prices, uninterrupted production. At the top of the Guardian this morning, local airlines share 4 billion naira aviation intervention fund. And addressing insecurity, hunger to avoid resolution, Anglican bishop tells FG, or rather he asks them to address insecurity. Man stabs stepbrother to death in Ogun on page 8, and bandits abduct UN employee students leader in Borno State. That's as much as they can say of the Guardian newspaper. We now move on now to our next paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Big headline here, COVID-19 vaccine to arrive Nigeria end of January, find on page 345. India approves use of homegrown Covaxin, AstraZeneca vaccines, and Sanwo-Olu extends stay-at-home period for public servants. A look at the story for this paper here. These are, rulers at the weekend expressing their joy for the holidays, let's say. And Ogun suspends commissioner over sexual harassment allegation, and police arrests 4 in Ekiti for faking kidnap to raise 250,000 naira for New Year's celebration. Ape man threatens to shut down stations in Oyo over incessant killing of members, and more inside of the Nigerian Tribune. We now move on now swiftly to the Punch newspaper, and Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, 4 others shun FG's directive. States disagree on federal government's January 18 resumption date. We received directive from our governor, not PTF, says Zamfara commissioner. And NAF launches exercise Tamaiko Yazo to rescue personnel in danger. Look at the photo story there, seeing the exercise going on. And at the bottom of the paper, Abiodun suspends Ogun commissioner over alleged sexual harassment, and 2 dead as cultists clash in Lagos. Finally, bandits kill 19 in Kaduna on New Year's attack. That's it for the Punch newspaper. We take another paper now, the Nation newspaper. COVID-19 spike, federal government considers another lockdown. Oh dear. And 33 die in 1 week. Doctors knock governors for reopening schools. Never should happen. At the very bottom of the Nation, a rape allegation. Abiodun suspends Commissioner Akeredolu mourns aid. And at the very top of the Nation, 774,000 artisans hired for public work. The program takes off, and Onyeli Ikpe takes office as Fidelity Bank MD CEO. There's more inside the Nation. You might want to grab a copy of these newspapers and read these stories. Let's do the weather now, and when we get back, we'll put an end to that conversation that we started and maybe even take some more of your comments on social media. We'll be right back.
It's another marvelous Monday morning right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And yeah, we're on the couch again. There's so much to talk about. that there's hardly ever enough time.
Such as how gorgeous you look today. I love your hair. Flip it, baby.
Thank you, darling.
Is this the famous Bone Straight?
Yeah, yes. Yes, it is.
What's your own?
It's no.
I want to know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Please let them
I guess
know.
it's the Bone Straight.
Yes.
What makes it bone and straight?
I'm saying they shouldn't know because I want Titi to get home safe.
Wow.
That's it.
So it's not as dramatic as people make it seem. And you know, there's also Tokumbo. There's also fairly used. Yeah. So let's just leave it at that.
Let's get back to that matter I was talking about. So before we went on the papers, we were talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about names.
No,
We're talking about
the DNA.
DNA.
I'm sorry.
You got it all
not
mixed
names.
up. It's okay.
DNA.
Now, you brought God into the matter, and I was going to address the fact that I do not like when God is brought into matters like this because it gives too much room for excuses. You, however, made...
My God is never an excuse. Okay, so you know...
me this morning.
So you know, okay, so this is my angle. This is my angle. My angle is I feel like children are sent down from God to be in a particular place at a particular time.
Everybody is there for a reason.
I've heard of some children born of some parents that you wonder why those parents have those children or whether they deserve them. And this is, you know, whether they actually deserve the way they treat those children. And if these children end up with other parents that are treating them well, why should it be such a problem if they were from the same blood?
I'm going to be very brief.
As long as these children are being taken care of well,
I have nothing against a child that has been brought up in a home with so much love, eventually discovering that her father is not hers. I believe that man should actually keep that baby because investing so much love in bringing up such a child is no little feat. You cannot just subtract love because one day you discover that the baby is not yours.
Because of paper.
However, how did we get there has to be addressed. The mother of that child has plenty of questions to answer. You know, and there's so much that she has just done to that family, especially the man. Because if you've invested so much trust in someone and knowing that this is my daughter and then eventually finding out, imagine that can kill you.
Like there's a story, I'm trying to get the story. It was
Me, I've even been looking at comments.
Put it up. Well, let's get to comments, but I'll get to that story. This one was 33 years.
33.
Wow.
The daughter, the three of them, said her dad was her best friend from growing up and all of that. I think they wanted to do a bone donor or something. It was like they went for a DNA test or something. There's a particular test they wanted to go for. And then something just happened. Just found out that daddy is not actually our father. And then they go to the mom, and their mom breaks down. For 11 years, she had an affair with the father's best friend.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Who was a neighbor, and that guy is their father.
So there's some...
Dad leaves the house for 3 days, calling his number, they can't get him. Find out he goes to his beach house and is hung there.
Oh dear.
Oh
no.
Mom doesn't talk. Mom doesn't talk. The three kids, they can't bring themselves to talk to mom.
Wow. And they've lost their dad.
And they've lost their dad. At the burial, dad's family and mom's family get into a big fight. It's just all just because of something that's small. Not small. This is at Clothed One. I like that, Clothed One. Okay. He says, I remember telling friends in 2010 that if DNA is done
I've heard this one before.
Firstborn of married people in Lagos, 30% are not likely to have husband's DNA. This infidelity has been normalized in this part of the world. What is shocking and embarrassing is when all the children are not his. Kilode.
Wow. Okay, so what I want to say now is good. Like,
Careful.
Okay, let me not say it that way. So I feel like, you know, a lot of women are put under pressure to marry by their families, and they're put under pressure to be in a house, have a man take care of them, and then of course maybe they're not even able to take care of themselves and the child themselves, and they just make a decision. We're watching Bridgerton.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to talk about
Bridgerton. Bridgerton is like a classic case.
You can't speak about it without the accents.
don't feel that they can be as honest as they should be in situations like that because of family, what people would say, stigma in general of just being pregnant on their own. It's not immaculate conception.
So you know something I wanted to mention just before you said so.
Yeah.
I've actually been studying the law in different countries about this, and generally any child born in a marriage, whether it belongs to the man or not, automatically becomes his child.
Even here in Nigeria?
Now, in Nigeria is what I've been trying to figure out.
Confirm.
And for Nigeria, it's still the same any child born in marriage.
Our cultural interference will not let that be, however.
Wait, but in most cases, most women don't tell. Yeah.
So,
but let's
now this
check
angle, we've never gone to this part, and thank God this handle went to this part, even though this handle is at 6'3", but and this what you are dealing on, you know, who put this up. He says, now I like this. He says the things where I defined, Naim go see. The earlier we understand, the better that there are many secrets in this world that, if revealed, will be the end of discussion for people's concern. Not everything I see is supposed to talk. And this is an angle that we've not discussed, but it is a very, very, this is really something. Yes,
you have to explain that a bit.
It's not everything. Look, there are some secrets that should just go to the grave.
Yeah.
A lot of things are healthy now. A lot of things are moving on just because somebody had the nerve to not tell somebody else something and kept it with him or her. So yes, what we're saying is that, look, okay, now look at it now. That man now, after 33 years of marriage, imagine if
that had been
something had not happened and then somebody, and we'll probably have died a happy man.
Yeah.
So this angle is just that, look, it's not everything that should be revealed.
Yeah. Well, I go with the angle of, if that child is supposed to be a
I'm very dark about
So let's take a look at this.
Yeah, just one final one. This is at Ainjolua. I don't think he has any right to do the test in the first place. Well, that serves him right. He would have lived his remaining days on earth enjoying. He rather chose to dig a pit for himself.
He has a right to check if he wants to. I don't have any problem with DNA tests. I just have a problem with children being called names for things that are not their faults. That's it.
Tell you what, guys, very interesting conversation there. And thank you very much, everybody who's at home who actually helped join in this conversation. We enjoyed your comments on Twitter and also on Instagram. Do continue. The conversation continues on there. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We would also interact with you guys on there. Let's take a break. We've got more Wake Up on the other side. Go nowhere.
Welcome to the kitchen, right here on Wake Up Nigeria. I was actually thinking it was going to be tech first, so I'm really sorry about this. I've got Chef Ben with me, and we are making breakfast together. Today's breakfast promises to be very interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Something already caught my attention, which I mentioned to him already, but we'll get right to it, okay? So, Chef Ben, tell me what we're having for breakfast.
Good morning. So this morning we're going to do something really simple, but I've decided to make it a little bit complicated, basically. So this morning we're going to do a sweet potato hash brown.
Sweet potato hash brown, okay.
Yes. And we're going to serve it with some scrambled eggs, and also we're going to have kidney beans as well to go alongside with it. So that's what we're eating for breakfast this morning.
Okay, so let's talk about the ingredients. What are we making use of?
Okay, so first, very important, we have sweet potato here, which I was just peeling the other time.
Okay.
We've got sweet potato here.
Okay.
And then we have eggs, of course.
Okay.
We have kidney beans.
Okay.
We have some...
This looks pre-cooked.
Yeah, so it's in brine, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's already cooked.
The
and
tinned
then,
ones,
yes, so
okay. Because we know we have the local ones as well,
yes,
but
basically.
those ones you'd have to cook.
For a very long
And
time. So
cook.
to save time, this is the one in the
Cook.
can. Yes, so
Okay.
you have paprika, you have Italian seasoning.
Okay.
You have... Italian seasoning is a combination of different herbs. Parsley, marjoram, rosemary, and then sage, basically.
Okay.
So that's the combination of the herbs.
Okay.
Then you have, of course, our...
Whenever I hear sage, I think of spirits. But it's all right.
And then, of course, we have yaji here.
Okay.
Because we're going to do a yaji scrambled egg, basically, to serve along. So just to have that our own...
You know, there are
temperate.
actually two types, I think. There's
Yes.
one that is already colored, the red ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that one is basically used for kilishi and all of those, all of those sort of stuff. Yeah. So you have black pepper, you have garlic powder, and then you have 2 basic cheese. This is a Parmesan cheese, and then you have mozzarella cheese, basically.
Okay, and then
of course you have milk. So I have compound butter here.
Now tell me what that compound butter is all about, because you were trying to explain it, but I was still like, as soon as you mentioned wine, I was like...
Okay, so compound butter, basically, it's a way to, enhance your butter to, elevate the flavor. It's normally really good in your dish, but you could also push it up a little more higher. So that's what I've done to this. So in this one, you have some onions, you have red wine, you have salt, you have...
onions, red wine, salt.
Yes, you have black pepper in there, basically. So, melted...
You melt it.
Melted butter, and then infuse all of those things inside, then refrigerate it, basically, and then, you just have to roll it up and then
let me bend this a bit.
Yes.
So everyone gets
to see. So,
the
whole idea is that it's going to have a lot of flavor to the dish, just going to bring it up a little more higher than it's supposed to be.
Just by using butter?
Yes, just by using butter, yes.
Wow.
And then, of course, we
Look
have...
at all the colors.
Yeah, we have vegetable oil, and then we have milk. So milk is going to be used for...
See this.
It's going to be used for the scrambled egg, basically. You could also use cream. You could also use full cream milk, but this is evaporated milk.
Okay. Okay. So you recommend evaporated milk?
No. Either way, I mean, if you don't want too much fat, you could go for maybe...
But I could use powdered milk and then put water. Would that fly?
It would fly, but I recommend you use cream or full cream milk.
So
basically.
There's something I discovered.
Okay,
most times you're advised to use full cream milk and the rest. And then you find out that you don't have enough supply at home.
Okay.
So I realized that using a bit of water and loads of powdered milk,
yes, you get to achieve that.
with a bit of sugar,
yes,
you could actually get the consistency.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's a lot of
It's a lot of powdered milk,
yeah,
basically. It's a lot of powdered milk, yes.
Which is more expensive on the long run. So.
Yes, basically.
Okay, so what's the cooking process going to be
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to grate the sweet potatoes.
Grate?
Yes, we're going to grate it. So I've got a grater here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to...
Is it because you have to grate the cheese?
Okay, so we're making almost like a cake kind of, a pancake kind of. That's what hash brown looks like. So normally it comes with the use of Irish potatoes.
But hash browns are usually like pancakes, kind of like small.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to grate this sweet potatoes.
Okay.
We'll grate it, and then we'll put it into a bowl, add some salt to it to draw out the moisture. Okay. And then I've got a very clean napkin here that we're going to use to squeeze out the water, the excess water that the salt is going to draw out. Okay. We squeeze it out, and then we're going to add some seasoning to it. So the seasoning that we're going to add to it will be some Italian seasoning, paprika.
I know, you already said it was going to complicate this. So the more it goes on, you're probably like...
it gets.
Don't worry, you get to see the process. Right now, however, it's time for tech.
Welcome back. Now it's about time for us to take our first performance of the week. Who's performing for us this morning? His name is BMT. How you doing, BMT?
I'm fine, I'm good.
Good morning. Yeah, so, hey, BMT, talk to me about, first of all, what does BMT mean? Tell me.
So I actually got the name like from secondary school. Like,
all right.
It's about like, boarding school now. All this boarding school P, like bad man. So that's how the name came in.
So like, bad man what? What's the T?
Bad man thing.
Bad man thing. Okay. So that gives me a little insight into, how you're going to perform in a bit. But what's the name of the song you're performing today?
Over.
Yeah. The year just started, oh, guy. It's not over yet, oh.
No, 2020 is over.
Okay, 2020 is over. Okay, all right. So talk to me about the song.
So basically, the song is talking about like, if I love a girl, like it's over for our other suitors, like. Hey! So that's what the song is talking about, basically.
That's a lot of confidence you got there.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's about time for you to take that performance away. It's all yours.
Yeah, thank you.
That was really nice. When we heard over, we were thinking, we are just starting. But that was really nice. That was really nice. Okay, so back to the kitchen right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Chef Ben, yes, is still the one in charge, and he's making breakfast.
Okay.
Again, my favorite part of this is
the compound butter.
Compound butter.
Yes.
It's your signature, right? You made it yourself.
Yeah, I made this one myself. So there is like the traditional way of making it. So it also gives you opportunity to just add anything you want as well. So if you're a very big fan of rosemary, parsley, you could just
be putting all the herbs
in there. Yes.
And I like the fact that it's very versatile.
So
you
this
can
one
use
has
it to do so many things.
red wine in it.
Okay.
So to just give it that alcoholic feel to it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Guess it'll have to be eaten afterward. Okay, so let's get started.
What we've done basically here is to add some salt to the grated sweet potatoes.
And then squeeze.
Yes, so just leave it there for like 15 minutes. What the salt is going to do is that it's going to draw out the moisture, all the water in it. It's going to draw it out. And
but I noticed you didn't have to do so much squeezing, though.
Yes, because
when you said squeezing, I was thinking, hey,
no, because there's already salt in there, so everything is going to like render itself. So just going to add a few drops of paprika to it, and then we're going to add Italian seasoning.
Okay.
Remember, we've added some salt, so you want to be very careful with salt at this point.
Okay.
And then
I notice hash browns sometimes tend to be salty. Is
yes.
it an error on the part of whoever makes it?
No, I think that's it. Forgetting the fact that you've added some salt to, draw out the moisture, you could do it a little bit over. So I'm adding some black pepper to it as well. Okay. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grate some cheese over it. Okay. So I've got mozzarella cheese here.
This puts it together when you're frying.
So it sort of binds it together. So I'm going to use 2 basic cheese to achieve that, because I love mozzarella and I also love Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to use both of them to
So there's something I've actually been very curious about. Yesterday, I was making meatballs,
Okay.
And then I said to myself, isn't there a way I can make this without using breadcrumbs and eggs?
Okay, so there is something called coagulation. So coagulation is the effect of heat on protein. So it binds all the amino acids in it, basically. So with or without breadcrumbs, it's going to bind because of the acid, because of the tissues and all of the elements in it. Okay. So because it's already minced, it's already grated. Okay. So all of those things has been broken down into pieces. So all you need to do, if you don't want that, you can also use egg as a binder. Okay. You can use egg, or without that, you can also, just don't overwork it. Okay. So the moment you overwork it, it makes the beef to become tough and very, very tough. So that way you'll be able to achieve all you need to achieve.
I didn't know that.
So we're going to add just a piece of egg into it. So it's going to bind.
Just one?
Just one. It's fine. So we're going to stir all of this together.
Okay. Egg and cheese.
Yes.
And that's going to be really chewy.
Yes. So at this point, if you like any fresh herb, you could also, infuse that in at this point. Okay. Parsley, thyme, or anything you want, anything of your choice. Okay. Okay. So this is together now.
This looks yummy already.
Yes. So the pot is hot. Okay. It's on the fire already. We're just going to allow it hot a little bit. Okay. Then, so there are 2 ways to it. If you don't want butter, you could as well use just vegetable oil to some sort of fry this. Okay. So you recommend either butter or vegetable oil? Or both of them.
Margarine is a bad idea.
Margarine is a very bad idea. A very bad one.
Okay. So either butter or oil or both of them,
or
but no margarine.
Yes. So
noted.
Because we are doing magic today,
okay.
we have our butter there. So So we're just going to add a few of the butter into everything we do.
Okay. So this is where the infusion comes in.
Yes. So the butter goes in.
So we're going to let that melt.
So we're just going to let that melt.
Okay, let me help you with tossing that around while you get the eggs ready.
So one thing the oil does is that butter burns out quickly. Okay. But with the addition of the oil, it some sort of keeps it together for a very long time. Okay. So there are 2 ways to this. You could either use your spoon to scoop it, or you could just use your hand. Just put it on your hand this way. Okay. and form any desired shape that you want.
Oh, you can even form shapes with it. I always thought hash browns were just round.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be round. So
I've not been eating at imaginative places.
So just going to pop some out. You don't want the heat to be too hot. I mean, to be too high. Okay. So that, you know, it gets to cook evenly. And with the fact that this is sweet potato, it cooks a lot faster, a lot more faster than the
Irish potato. Okay. So sweet potato is recommended as well.
Yes,
I've actually had, most of them I've had were with Irish potatoes,
yes.
So this is also a new one for me.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's also the advantage of Irish potatoes being a lot cheaper.
Yes, basically.
Because
a lot more cheaper.
Yeah.
Imported one comes in different colors.
Okay.
So you have the orange color.
Yeah.
Yes.
Locally, it's now being produced, as a matter of fact.
Yes, it is.
The orange potatoes.
The orange potatoes.
Amazing.
So I mean, we are getting there.
There's nothing you can't get in just these days.
I'm telling you.
Even roses.
I'm telling you. Okay,
but
so
then of course,
we don't want to overcrowd. We don't want to overcrowd the pot. So we're just going to allow that too.
Okay, so we'll definitely get our scrambled eggs done as well.
Yes.
Still a lot to do in the kitchen, but we've come to the top of the first hour. 45 minutes more to go. Make sure you stay with us as Wake Up Nigeria.
Hello.
Yes. Second hour, isn't it? Yeah. For Monday here, first one in January. Thank you very much, guys. Hey, it's going to be a great show, the rest of this show. As you can see already, the kitchen is buzzing with plenty of beautiful colors and smells and everything.
So when Chef Ben is in town, nothing can go wrong in that kitchen. Absolutely nothing.
Mary, if you want to smile at the camera.
Yeah.
Seriously, Mazino? Seriously?
Caught you off guard there, didn't we?
Yeah.
But good job going on. Hey guys, by the way, we want to say thank you to everybody who is on Facebook right now, actually seeing us live. And you can do that too as well. We are at TVC Connect on all social media handles, and you can comment and we can take some of your comments even as you're watching us. Thank you very much to Abifari and also Abubakar Sadiq and also Bolarinwa Esther Olamide for your comments about the kitchen. We know you can't wait to taste it. If only you could.
Honestly, sometimes I think they're tasting it through the phone.
Yes, indeed.
And you should send in your videos as well. Just make sure you use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Speaking of hashtags, you know, that hashtag has been buzzing this morning based on our conversation from earlier with Mike and Mary right here on the couch. We're still taking a few more of those comments in a bit, so keep them coming. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And of course, my name is Mazino Appeal. And let's tell you what we got coming for the rest of the show.
Yeah, so first up, we have a poetic rendition from the 78th psalmist himself. Now, that's one you should look forward to.
Talking about finding footing, this DNA issue.
People are so
someone mentioned me and said, I really want to know what you meant by the law angle. And the thing is this, when you talk about law, the law can be an ESS, according to doctors, according to lawyers even, because certain things you believe should be the way, you know, we should be, aren't usually like that. I was talking about the fact that in the US, as long as the child is born inside marriage, even if all 10 of them don't belong to the man, according to law, the children are legally his. So he can decide that, madam, these children are mine. I took care of them. I raised them. You cannot tell me you're taking that child to another place. But in Nigeria, this is a patriarchal society. And so a man can come from nowhere and say to you, your wife had a baby for me, I want my child.
I have a question, however. What about in the instance where the real fathers insist on being a part of that child's life after it's been discovered that, hey, this is my blood, my DNA, my son or my daughter? What happens then in these societies that you speak of?
In the foreign society, so there's something they sign. Parental subjugatory rights or something like that. So it's a document you sign, do you understand, saying, I want to have access to my child, even though the woman might be married to someone else. But if the husband refuses to sign it, you won't have your child.
So I can't have access to my own...
You might be maybe seeing the child on the streets, but inside the house, you can't claim the child.
It does make sense, really. if you're talking about order, you need some order. You don't want anybody jumping around and all about.
I guess that's what we don't
have
have in
an
Nigeria.
adult and can choose for himself or herself. Then you have the option to go for the fact that the child is still a minor. I think that really does make some sense. You know, you don't want so much chaos in society. Anybody just standing up and all that. It's part of order, and I think it does make sense.
There's something I've seen in movies where in the courts, well, these are Yankee films, or where the courts ask the child. Who would you rather go with? Who would you rather? You know,
but they have to be of age, however.
It actually happens.
No, it happens with even smaller
really?
kids. So whenever there's this one is not maybe if there's a dispute or there's a divorce, and you know, and maybe the father and the mother have shown equally that they can. Because you know, you remember the case that had to do with was it now the Rob Kardashian and China, where you can come and say, okay, this other person has drug issues, so by law you cannot, the child can never make an option to stay with that person. But when the two parties are capable enough to handle that kid, and then they could ask the kid.
There's actually something I was reading, Okoli versus Okoli, also about paternity issues and all. And that was where I discovered that from 5 years old, the father can be given the child, you know, have custody. Though in most cases, when a child is that young, it's recommended that the child stays with the mother.
You know what we've been doing? We've been looking at this from the aspect, from the angle of the parties involved, man and woman. But what about the children? What are the effects on their psyche? What are the effects? How does it affect them growing up and all of that? Giving a child the opportunity to actually make a decision, definitely they'll go with love. They'll go with the person that they've always known to be their father.
But isn't love very important, though?
Which is what I espouse to, trust me. But in the long term, eventually, when they become adults, I believe that there are also certain effects that these little factors that happen in their early life or even before they were born will definitely take a course. And for me, that's my concern. The distrust that it will have on partners and so on and so forth. There's a myriad of instances.
My biggest problem, I believe I mentioned it earlier, is don't give children names. I've heard children being called BASTARD, and I find it very frustrating because no child gets to pick the circumstances of their birth. So why name them that? You hear in Yoruba Omo ALE, and you're like, stop it. It's not the child's fault. You can insult whoever was involved in whatever happened, but why should that child carry that for the rest of their life?
Movement. By the way, you started something on social media recently, didn't you? What
Mary
was that?
Alimi's social diary.
What is it about again?
It's just about my day-to-day life, besides my personal life, that is. And it's been really interesting. I'm not going to do what I did on Saturday anymore, though.
What did you do on Saturday?
People started asking me, are you a sports commentator? Because I was actually tweeting the entire match, the Arsenal, West Brom Arsenal match. As in, at some point, even me, I was even tweeting people that were leaving, people that were being brought in.
Oh, that's interesting. Do
I
you still
actually
have
had a great
access to it?
time.
Can I still see it?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
I even created a thread, so you can always catch up on each day.
Lady O'Mary, isn't it?
Yeah. Happy New Year! Yes, we are still in the spirit.
I like that. There's nothing wrong with who you've always been.
No, there's not.
I did your job for you there because normally we said this on Friday. You normally always recap what Judy says. So we're throwing a jab at you there. We love it when you do it, however.
We miss it.
Yeah, because it's always exciting to actually, you know, watch today and all the interesting nuggets it gives us.
Okay, so let's get back to that conversation and your comments on social media regarding the tweet that we put out this morning. Mike, you've got some more comments,
so let's just go back to the main tweets that said, let's recapitulate there. It says, father-in-law who hated his son's wife did a secret DNA test on her 3 children using himself as the baseline. The result revealed they are not his blood. They actually belong to his son, but his son is not his own. Okay, so let's get the context in which the comments are going to be coming in. Okay, and this is from Nimot Olayiwola, who says the man is irresponsibly irresponsible. He isn't supposed to be called a father. So if the children aren't his sons, he would send his son's wife packing, knowing fully well that his supposed son isn't his son. Well, God is the greatest judge.
That's a very twisted comment.
Very twisted, yet deep.
So he wasn't responsible enough to actually make sure that his son was his before checking on the honor of another woman.
So it feels like take the
That's what she's
toothpick
saying.
out of your own eye before
No,
you try
take the log.
Find the log.
Take the
Before you
firewood
take
out
out
of
the-
your eye before you take the toothpick out of
You
somebody's
guys
eye.
are just allowing the comment alone, sir. Irresponsibly irresponsible.
Irresponsibly irresponsible.
Hey. Okay,
Name
all
on.
right. Now, this
Well
is at Charipel89, who says that's if the wife is still alive and reachable, if he's not going to deal with it for the rest of his life. Thank you very much. Yinka, I like you. She just says good morning and have fun, y'all.
Thank you, Yinka. Thank you.
I hope you have
I'm so glad that was 409, not 419, but it's all right. Yeah, thank you.
Chinwe Charity Daisy says that's right. I don't know what's right.
I don't know what's
Yeah, there must be a threat to that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very true. And I love this one. Now, so filmmakers should hijack this one. It will be very interesting to watch.
Wow.
If Peter Doce happens to be the father.
Hey, we could actually, you know, this could work. We could actually suggest. So Peter Doce is the father-in-law. Ramsey Noah is the son. The daughter would be who?
Ramsey Noah looks too much like Peter Doce.
Maybe like,
Yeah, well, that's why.
They will be like, are you sure?
Sime for the daughter.
You're a bad influence. You're the problem of Nigeria.
I always say that Nigeria has so much content that we could make into Nollywood. So much, but we often just overlook
Here's the
it.
problem.
Yeah.
You know what
So,
happens?
I
You know what
do-
happens?
okay.
So normally what Nollywood will do, we'll run up with this is that they'll just act movies and doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
And then depending on what's trending. So what happens is that next week you just see a movie. DNA results. And then after that, like 3 months back.
I think that's
Expect
about
one.
it. But there's a plot twist, though. Keep in mind, both of you might not own the child. The child might have been switched in the hospital.
Boom! Take a
all
look
that.
at that. All right, tell you what, let's do the weather. We'll be back with some more. And yeah, stay tuned.
All right, time for us to give you something really interesting. You know, there are different forms of arts. There's music. I'm talking about entertainment now. We have music, rappers, and all. However, there's one that people sit on a lot, and talking about spoken word artistic, which is actually the basic for all of this. And to do justice to some of those this morning is David Odiase, better known as 78 Psalmist. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Very fine, thank you. Good morning.
Fantastic. Okay, so 78 Psalmist.
Yeah.
I was going to say David, but 78 Psalmist.
Yes.
What exactly are you performing for us this morning?
Well, today I'll be doing a piece titled Of Tired Places.
Of Tired Places.
Yes.
Okay, what is that one about?
It chronicles the events of 2020 and sheds a glimmer of hope into 2021. So it actually outlines the events of 2020, the pandemic, the protest and all, moving into 2021, what we should expect, what lies ahead of us.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is definitely something to look forward to. Thank you so much. Take it away.
Spoon-fed the earth with a young boy's body and watched it belch up a gravestone. We are running out of everything. Of luck, of salt, of gods. We arrange them according to the weight of each loss, as if the heaviness we feel can be measured in kilograms. Isn't that what you call a mass burial? But heavy is still heavy. Pain is still pain. We have become so earthbound, now nothing can lift our souls. The thing about dying is that it is breathtaking. Our outer skin is a braille text. You can hear our screams by touching us. Do not call us courageous. The rest of the world is a tired place. This plague touches us everywhere. It stretches across our skin like a Schofield tattoo with the escape somewhere around our eyes. We have built Eskimos from frozen tears and watched them collapse into raindrops. Still we are landlocked, the keys thrown into the ocean. January 30th, 2020. When the angel of death passed through our cities, there were no lamp blood smeared on our doorposts. The Hebrews lost their firstborns too. 2,000 dead in Israel, 6,000 dead in Egypt. But there will be no repeat of the Red Sea miracle. The Red Sea is the only ocean where the slaves did not drown. A black boy in a dug grave is still a black hole. A part of the universe is still missing. 20,000 dead in South Africa, 200,000 dead in the US. The stench of death across the EU stinks like ew. China waves a 5-star red flag. We spoon-fed the earth with a young boy's body and watched it belch up a gravestone. We are running out of everything, of luck, of salt, of gods. We arrange them according to the weight of each loss, as if the heaviness we feel can be measured in kilograms. Isn't that what you call a mass burial? But heavy is still heavy. Pain is still pain. We have become so earthbound now nothing can lift our souls. The thing about dying is that it is breathtaking. Our outer skin is a braille text. You can hear our screams by touching us. Do not call us courageous. The rest of the world is a tired place. This plague touches us everywhere. It stretches across our skin like a Schofield tattoo with the escape somewhere around our eyes. We have built Eskimos from frozen tears and watched them collapse into raindrops. Still we are landlocked, the keys thrown into the ocean. January 30th, 2020. When the angel of death passed through our cities, there were no lamp blood smeared on our doorposts. The Hebrews lost their firstborns too. 2,000 dead in Israel, 6,000 dead in Egypt. But there will be no repeat of the Red Sea miracle. The Red Sea is the only ocean where the slaves did not drown. A black boy in a dug grave is still a black hole. A part of the universe is still missing. 20,000 dead in South Africa, 200,000 dead in the US. The stench of death across the EU stinks like ew. China waves a 5-star red flag, but we can tell which parts are blood-stained. When the white man translated Yeshua into Jesus, the Y was taken off. But we still have questions about religion, about how God wove a language out of invincibility and silence. Is 2020 just another year? From Black Lives Matter to Kobe Bryant crash, Chadwick Boseman, Jay Fizzy, Ishola Balogun, NSAS protests, Hong Kong protests, Australian wildfires. Tragedies flood our timelines in the absence of water. The rising sea level is a glimpse of our current situation. But have we not lost ourselves in naming bodies after lost cities and soaring earth? To indulge in counting things, we have lost sight of things that truly count. We have become too indulged in gay men criticisms to realize that all men must love one another, that the only way through is together, a congregation of stars who dare outshine the sun. In the midst of falling economies and global stock prices, we must remind ourselves that why hell burns for so long is because the human spirit is indestructible. We have a Simon of Siren kind of resolve, and when gods become weary, our shoulders can carry the weight of the world. If we let 2020 win, that will mean 2021. But 2021 must not look like 2022. I have learnt. It is only hopeless when we hope less. I have learnt. And no matter how overpopulated the world is, an astronaut would still find space.
Amazing, amazing. The 78th psalmist there with some very deep spoken word on 2020. We're going to take a trip down memory lane at this point as we take some stories this week in history. Now, on the 2nd of January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi began a 241-mile march to the sea. This march was a defiant march against the British monopoly on salt. Imagine a march on salt, and it was one of his boldest acts of civil disobedience to go against British rule in India. So the British Salt Acts prohibited Indians from collecting or selling salt, which is a staple in the Indian diet. Now citizens were forced to buy that vital mineral from the British, who, in addition to exercising monopoly over the manufacture and sale of salt, had also exerted a heavy salt tax. Although India's poor suffered most under the tax, the Indians really required this salt. So defying the Salt Acts, he reasoned, would be an ingenious way for Indians to just break the British law non-violently. Now, he set out with 78 followers, not Twitter followers, actual people, a little joke there, and he started from Dandi and walked all the way to the Arabian Sea. It's a very deep one there. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the most important people you'll ever read about. He had so many important quotes that even till today, people live by. Now, also this week in history, Margaret Thatcher became the longest-serving British Prime Minister, and of course the first female. Now, Margaret Thatcher, often fondly called the Iron Lady, is someone who became the leader of the opposition quite early. I'm talking about the Conservative Party leadership, and she was the first woman to lead a major political party in the United Kingdom and the first woman to hold one of the great offices of state. Now, after winning the 1979 general election, she introduced quite a lot of economic policies that led to a resignation. She was the longest serving prime minister and woman to hold that office in the UK. Now, there's one more story that I thought might be of interest to you, but we can't take it right now. We're going to have to take a quick break, but hopefully you learned a thing or two. Still Wake Up Nigeria.
Well, welcome back. And today, SME Today, we have a very interesting guest. We have Bolabo Joseph, who is the CEO of IANS. It's a tech startup here in Nigeria, and it's a very interesting one. Let me say welcome to you first off. Before we get talking, you look the part.
Thank you so
Let
much.
me just say, and we're both wearing black, like we planned it, but no.
Great to be here. It's a pleasure.
Joseph, it's good to have you here today.
Thank
now,
you so much.
Before you got on, we were talking about your startup. It's a tech startup, and it's very, very interesting because at this time and age, it's something that we need as people who want to put out content or whatever it is that we have that we want the world to know about. So let's start off by asking you what IANS is all about, and even if you can tell us a little bit about how you came about the name and all of it.
You know, as a very, creative youth, I thought of a lot of things, I thought of going into blogging. I thought of just continuing, because I'm a software programmer.
Okay.
I studied, all the code and everything. But I thought of something original. So, and I knew Nigerian youths love expressing themselves.
Yeah.
So I thought of yarning as a phrase. What are you saying? I put the I, which is the technology behind the IANS, which is the I, makes it more smart.
Oh.
So I put it together and I thought, okay, IANS.
I get it
So
now.
it's all about expression. How? Through creativity. So it became an idea, became a company. And thereabout, it began to evolve.
Okay.
From a website into a blog into an app.
Okay. So it's not just a social media platform, although you can use it for such. It's much more than that. What else does it entail? What else can people do on this platform?
Okay. It's a new niche. It's called social commerce.
Social commerce.
Commerce. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of fintech merged together
Okay.
with social networking. So it's more like a hybrid of e-commerce, social networking, and entertainment.
Okay.
So it's all about, having an idea, leveraging on it.
Okay.
Okay? Because you have to put power in the hands of the user and give the user a positive mindset about you using the content, because content is king as well as data. So you have to be able to give the user an opportunity to get something back.
So this opportunity you're talking about is out for individuals who are outside, who have interesting content and also products that they want the world to see, and that's where you come in.
Yes.
So they use your platform to get that leverage of communicating with a wider audience, and then they get paid for it?
Yes, they do.
My question is, how much do they get paid for it exactly?
Well, if you have, we have a few categories. We have ebooks, audiobooks, acrylic painting, icons, anything you can do. You have to bring it up. The admin will take it through a verification process. And once you're good to go, you have your copyright, you have an NDA signed, we put your product out there. You get as much percentage as you are able to prove.
And if I get the opportunity to have a sponsor using your platform, do you get a part of that money?
Yeah, we get we get some percentage, but
there
you own your thing.
That's where I'm going.
you own your thing. You own it. It's yours. It's a digital thing, so it takes you far. But what we're able to do is, we know not a lot of people don't really have the opportunity to be at Google, to be at Facebook, to be at Amazon. But you have stuff. You might have a material design for the next Canon camera. You might have a design for the next car. Maybe you might draw it and everything, but you need where those that matter can see you. So this is the go-to place for all the creative people, for all the great thinkers to come on and be able to connect. So that's what social commerce is. And you can as well send money from user to user, which we're trying to perfect in our next update.
So it's not just restricted to those who are in tech.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody, from entertainment. As long as you're creative and you have something that you want the world to see. Okay, now let's talk about you and your operation now. How big is your operation? When did it get started? And perhaps maybe there's somebody out there like you who wants to also do something like this. Tell us about that for a bit.
Okay, I started about 6 years, 7 years ago.
6.
Yeah, but we launched the app in 2018 on Google Play. And pretty much since 1999, I've been into technology as a kid. I wrote programs, I wrote games, and my dad gave me a lot of
Support.
He gave me a very, very, very wide perspective.
Okay. All right.
So we traveled together to the US.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you finish that. We have to take weather real quick, and when we get back, we're going to let you continue on that very interesting topic. We'll be back here with Joseph Balabo in just a minute. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. We're still with Balabo Joseph. He is the CEO of IANS. It's a tech startup here in Nigeria, and we're talking very interesting stuff about exactly how you got started and where you are now, how big that operation is.
Well, right now we're a strong team virtually since the COVID. We have a strong team of 30 in America, Europe, and Bangladesh.
Oh, hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Wait, not just Nigeria?
Not just Nigeria.
No.
Not just Nigeria.
Okay, that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a big operation then.
Yeah, we're growing.
And how has the entire instance of COVID affected this business? Because I'm imagining that as people are staying back from having physical presence elsewhere, they're turning to platforms like yours to be able to express themselves. So has that had a positive...
It has a wonderful effect. It's a digitalization decade.
Okay.
So we are just, like taking ourselves to the next frontier, which is where people sit back and look at stuff they can do while they're at home. So they discover platforms like ours, startup like ours, and be able to leverage on that. So it's our time. I think
is it possible
really
that you might get bought out someday?
Well,
and would you
that's the goal of every startup company, but you have to really think about how they will take you. For example, if we are going to have a partner company or somebody want to buy us, they have to have a long-term vision and our long-term goals. It has to align. If it doesn't align, it's not about the money. It's about precipitating social economic change through creativity. That's the goal. Not being bought out, not being paid out of what we have. But we are trying to change the world. That's the dream of a startup founder, changing the world. You have to change the world you live in. You have to change people. You have to inspire the youth because we have the best youth in the world. Nigerian youths are up there, they are upbeat, and they are always ready to learn.
Wow. Now, once again, it's called IANS. And that's how they can find you, isn't it?
Google Play.
On Google Play and all of that. Well, very interesting. I want to know more about this, so I'm going to be talking about it on social media, so hopefully everybody out there can actually also add to the conversation. Thank you very much, Joseph, for joining us.
My book also is on Amazon.
Oh, you got a book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Startup Time Capsule.
Startup Time Capsule.
How to be a startup from A to Z. Nice. It's on Google Play.
Well, fantastic. We can't wait to see that. We'll be looking forward to it, and maybe, of course, you out there as well. Thank you very much once again, Joseph.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have you back on here when you perhaps been bought out by Elon Musk or someone like so. Tell you what, let's find out what's happening inside the kitchen.
Good morning.
Oops. Thank you for joining
wonderful
us.
And beautiful ladies here.
Thank you so much.
All right, so welcome to the kitchen. Chef Ben has been in charge today, and he's made this amazing breakfast.
Wonderful.
Chef Ben, you don't want people at home to see what you do.
Oh, yeah?
Let them see
like
now.
that. Calm down.
Let's see now.
I'm
Let's
quite
see.
No,
hospitable,
we are not
that's
taking
why.
the food away from you, don't worry. So this is breakfast. Chef Ben, tell us more about it.
Okay, so basically this is more like you're having a pancake, but this time around it's a different one.
Yeah.
So you have sweet potato hash brown. You've got scrambled egg, yaji scrambled egg, and kidney beans, basically.
Ooh. Yes, so that's it.
It's almost like you're having a complete meal, protein, carbohydrate, everything all summed up together.
Yeah, and so
Really healthy.
this time you get to have it.
Yeah. Looks really healthy.
It is healthy.
Very colorful as well. So when you said yaji, you added yaji
Yaji spice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yaji spice, basically.
You're winning Master Chef.
Yeah, so almost like we're adding our own twist, our own taste to the meal, basically.
Nice.
All right.
Try the hash browns.
Yes, as well.
So hash browns I love the process of making the hash browns. It's a little bit messy in the
it's quite
beginning,
therapeutic as well.
but it just feels so nice. So you wouldn't even know it's actual potato that you're eating. So what do you think?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
A perfect meal from a perfect chef. Okay, I'm not just toasting you now, don't worry. But really, Chef Ben is one of my favorite chefs. I'll say it so that all of them will come
Thank you.
because of his take on different meals that
Thank
he
you
makes.
very much.
It's been a marvelous Monday, people. A marvelous Monday, and we have had a marvelous start to the week. So much more to come throughout the week just for you. Make sure you connect with us on social media, guys.
Hey.
Mazuna, I just have to mention that some very, very important members of the Wake Up family have made mention that the symbiotic camaraderie between myself and the kitchen.
Thank you so much for being on.
So this is me saying that next week, the whole of this week, all of them will be out. I'll just be with the guests alone from now on.
Thank you to everybody out there.
You guys gave me the wrong lollipop award. You should have given it to Mike. But it's fine.
We'll get to that one.
That's true.
It's
We'll get to that
fine.
one. We'll get to that one.
All right, we appreciate you being there with us every single morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. People, have a great day.
Early.
Bye.